Welcome to IT Live, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Joe Cook, got Justin Wells, and guess who else we have? We got Ian Boyd. So,
ta-da!
Well, better late than never, right, Ian? Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And, of course, make sure you head to InsideTexas.com. Join for just $1. Best Texas Longhorns football coverage, best recruiting insight, and the best community. Join for just $1. We'll also throw in a year of access to the Athletics. So, who is Rubble giving you some trouble over there, Justin?
I'm getting some side eye because he just had his breakfast and he should have gone outside, but he waited too long because this show started. So now he has to wait till the first commercial break, and he's giving me this. It's like, buddy, get out there or wait too long. So,
without a doubt. So I forgot my microphone, so I'm speaking through the computer. I won't. That's why I sound different. Sleeping baby and wife are in the next room, so I may let y'all take over a little bit more. But we'll get to Ian, what you posted today over on InsideTexas.com. Why Jack Endries is the key to the Longhorn offense. And Ian, Steve Sarkisian often talks about how quarterback is the most important position in sports, but Sark also talks about, and he did it again on Monday, says that tight end is probably the second most important position in Texas offense. So why do you think that is? Why do you think he says that?
That might be true of most offenses in general.
He said that before, by the way.
Just because tight end is such a fulcrum spot. Like, that's the fact that that's like your classic hybrid position means that your tight end is setting your strength as an overall offense. He's tipping the scale to whether you're more pass oriented or more run oriented. And then specifically what his skills are in the receiving as a receiver or as a blocker then dictates what your strengths are as a run blocking team or as a receiving team. Even if his skills are like modest, what they actually specifically are sets the table for what the rest of the offense is going to be and what the other pieces need to be. So tight end is kind of like quarterback in that it's similar to quarterback, maybe like not like quite a full order of magnitude down, but it doesn't have to be a super athletic or super talented player, but it does need to be a reliable player, and his skill set is going to have a tremendous amount of downstream effects on how the rest of the offense works.
Makes sense. Like left tackles are left tackles. You can have different schemes, but you need them to be the blindside protector and the guy who clears the holes. Wide receivers can look a little different, but at the end of the day, they're running down the field. But the tight end, if you have a blocker, that changes how you do things. And I think that's a good point. So let's talk a little bit about Jack Endries and why he is the key to the Longhorn offense. I actually have this. There we go. You start by explaining that he's the best skill player, arguably, on the Texas roster.
Yeah, just as we expected, right? He's, I think, a better blocker than I anticipated.
He's eager.
He's eager. He looked eager at Cal, but he just wasn't that skilled at it. And he's not that big. It seems like he's grown in that realm of the job. And as a receiver, he wasn't running like wheel routes and catching bombs with an Ohio State safety about to smack him in the mouth at Cal. Apparently they were underutilizing him, as amazing as that is. He's like just on both as a lead blocker and as a receiver, he's either grown meaningfully in the last year or he's just more skilled than Cal was even able to showcase, which adds up to this is a really freaking good player.
It's probably that with Cal, they had Fernando Mendoza. They didn't have a nobody at quarterback, but that I think going into a system now that everything kind of seems to, the BBs are not out of the box in Austin, whereas they are all over the place in Berkeley, with between what's Ron Rivera and Brian Harsin and Justin Wilcox, all that stuff. It sounds like he finally got to a stable situation. It's like, oh, you can do this, and oh, you've got these other guys around you. Like, okay, this'll all work out right. So, last season at Cal, 56 catches, 623, 2 touchdowns. He's already matched the touchdown total. As you know, targeted 8 times, 6 catches for 102 yards, 12.8 yards per target. And as that compares to some of the other Longhorn receivers, like this guy's putting the yardage up and he's doing it pretty consistently.
Real quick on this, there's a small sample size, right? 2 games. Let's see here. 8 to 14 targets per guy, right? A good yard per target for a top outside receiver is going to be like 10 plus.
Yeah.
If you're an inside receiver, it can be a little lower. You still want to be like 8 to 9 plus. Livingston's 29.2 is actually sensational. That's not going to be sustained, I don't think. Similarly, Wingo and Moore's 4.6 and 4.5 is abysmal. I believe Xavier Worthy was like 6.7 in 2022. That year when it was like turned out he had the broken hand, and every week it was like, why are they even bothering having Quinn Ewers throw deep shots to him? They never work. That year, Worthy was 6.7. So it just goes to show the room for improvement in the Texas passing game when targeting Ryan Wingo or DeAndre Moore.
I think we'll be able to see those numbers improve. And Justin, this is a point that AR made. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm curious what you feel about how Clemson may have Jack Endries and Cal is similar to Clemson's utilization of Makuba.
I don't necessarily think Clemson underutilized Makuba as much as he shined as a freshman. I think he was a freshman All-American. And then his sophomore year, he kind of took a step back. And I don't know if it was a skill thing. I don't know if it was an injury thing. I don't know if it was a scheme thing. But I don't necessarily think Clemson underutilized him. I just don't think he was getting developed. And that may go under the category of underutilization. But with injuries, it's much more obvious. Because with Cal, I mean, you get what you get. It's a program that's, I guess they're in the ACC. I don't really know. I'm going to guess they're in the ACC. But, there's some indifference of football, there compared to Clemson. And I want to say Clemson actually had a couple of younger DBs come in the class after him and play relatively well. And so, if anything, he just got lost in the mix and just didn't get developed after that freshman year. And also, kids get homesick. Andrews was a dad at the time, and his family's in Austin. And so it made a lot of sense that once he came back to Texas, he would blossom because he had his support center around him, and he had a DB coach. He had DB coaches that were going to help develop him to that next level. Which essentially, that 1 year last year, he wasn't even the starter, guys. Derek Williams was the starter. Makuba came in after Derek got hurt, and then Makuba's making plays on Thursday Night Football's on Philadelphia and Dallas's debut. So I don't think he was necessarily underutilized, maybe lost in the mix, lack of development. I really do think Makuba came together once he came to Austin. With injuries, it's a matter of volume and offense, essentially. Like, he's going to get more targets in Texas than he would at Cal because Texas is going to have a better offense. They're going to move the ball more. They're going to go more vertical. They're going to use him in 12. They're going to use a 12 personnel probably much, much more than Cal ever did. And so that's the underutilization to me is Cal with injuries. But then again, he was a walk-on, so they probably didn't quite understand what they had at the time.
I think one of the other things is when you look at Makuba, his first year was Brent Venables' last year. And his first year may have arguably been his best year at Clemson. Venables
Jasper just made a really good point, too. Texas Jasper did, Joe.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. Makuba had more talent around him here, yeah. I mean, when you got the Thorpe Award winner. But I think in a similar way to Clemson at Cal, just the offensive, I don't want to say train wreck, but just all the different voices happening at Cal probably made what Endries did, and again, with lesser talent around him, a little bit more look different than what it was going to look like at Texas. Same with Makuba. Like when you go from Brent Venables to, what was it, Austin Armstrong? Was that his name? Whatever his name was. The guy who.
That was the Florida guy that was a disaster, the baby-faced Gator assassin.
Well, whatever.
Wes Goodwin, I think.
Wes Goodwin, who Texas ran off, basically, or helped close the door on. That's kind of a similar situation. I see it that way. But let's keep on going, and let's get in a little bit about his skill set. You show some of the normal tight end shots, and this may play a little audio, so let me get ready for that.
This is the one that you broke down with Gunnar Helm and Quinn Ewers, Joe.
Yeah, so
he like
this
leaks.
Is that
he leaks across.
Play.
You go ahead. You tell about it.
Basically, let me see if I can show it. He's blocking. Is my mouse on the screen? Like, can y'all see?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So he's blocking right here, and he's actually really late on getting off that block, but it doesn't hurt them. Wingo clearing out. I guess that's either Moore or Livingston. Can't tell. Clearing out, and you'll watch Endries come across the screen, run a crossing route, and then boom, start running up the SEC logo. And it's a long developing play. And that safety seems to kind of recognize it, or that linebacker, but all the other safeties.
The linebacker also had his eye stuck on that DB coming out from a play action. So that 1 second of hesitation cost him in that regard, in my opinion.
But that's a play that Texas, they think that it is basically almost batting 1,000, and they utilize it. They kind of save it. They try not to overuse it just because you see tight end crosser, the boom. And I think Lincoln Riley uses it a lot at Oklahoma. A lot of teams use it now, but it's one of those big time plays that Texas makes use of. So that's where you see him as a receiver.
Now, OU beat Texas a couple times on their version of shallow sting, so they look like it's mesh. And then when the backside guy that's normally like an afterthought crosses, he turns upfield in the same way that Endries does here.
Mm-hmm.
That's how OU would do it. That was like the winning play in 2020 to Drake Stoops, and I think they burned Texas another time on it too. Starks is like, that includes the tight end block leak, which is just another level of diabolical.
Yeah. And so this is his other touchdown. You see him at the top of the screen in the slot.
No, he's the outside. He's the outside receiver.
Oh, well, easy to mix those two up, I guess.
And they're going to switch roles.
Further
complicated.
Because you see Endries run inside. So let me get this. Boom, switch. Wide open right there.
But that's one of the best passes Arch has made this year. You know why? He hit the guy in stride. That first touchdown to Endries, if you'd notice, was kind of on his backside hip, the pass. Yeah. Jack had to sort of contort his body to catch it. The second touchdown was a much, much better pass.
Arch is still waiting to see it sometimes a little bit.
It's taken and then boom. Yeah.
I think he's very close, though. I think that confidence is.
Every game he's going to slow it down just a little more and just a little more.
Yep.
And then like Bryant, that's the same. They scored against Arizona. Yeah. And Iowa State way back when, like they've used this plenty. I wrote an article on it. But he's also, Ian, you've been talking, they block with him pretty well.
I love this one.
So, okay. So that's him right there, just to the right of the 4 and the 40.
It looks like he's going to go run a wheel route because Texas is doing that a ton this year where they send somebody in motion and have them run a wheel around another receiver, and it switches the responsibility of the defense at the last second, and it gives the receiver a running start. You're seeing it across college football. It's really nasty. So they feign that, but then just have him run back into the box to lead block.
And every now and then, like you'll see some teams use offensive linemen do this, which is
Yeah.
which is really funny. Penn State's become good at that. So let's see. So watch him just to the right of that 4. Oh, nope, coming back, and then he's the lead blocker.
He's like Nick Townsend. He's looking for somebody to hit, guys. And if you get in his way, you're going to get popped.
This one also has a backside quarterback keep option.
That'll set up nicely in the fourth quarter next month.
Yeah.
All of Texas
When they'll need it.
You're going to be
okay.
hard pressed to find a successful Texas run, like a really good one in the last 2 games, that doesn't include Arch reading the backside edge. That most of them have been like that.
So this is
That doesn't give me warm and fuzzies, Ian.
That's I said all offseason. I said that's how it was going to be.
I know, and you're right most of the time.
So what are we looking at here with a Y lead RPO? That's Endries right there. What's he about to do?
He's going to insert on the backside. He would normally try to get to the backside linebacker, but he notices that there's some trouble in front of him, fully blocking the defensive tackle. So he just combos that guy to clear him out and then tries to work up to the linebacker from there.
That's
So there he
thinking.
is.
That's thinking on the run.
Yes, exactly.
That is a very complex thing at this level. That's awareness. Whenever you see the awareness tab on college football and on Madden, that's what you would call a high awareness.
Did Arch make the right read?
Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, one more time.
Because it's 2 over 2 on the bottom.
Yeah, you don't want to throw that.
Okay.
You just want to set up the safety in the corners for that.
That's a long throw, so that's going to be hard to.
Yeah, I was about to say he's on the boundary side. Tash.
Yeah. The glance up top, maybe, but the run was. They had good numbers to run.
Flex fullback. I like how you worded that.
Let's hear a word real quick from Academy before we get into
Good. I gotta let this dog out.
the flex fullback conversation.
Any gate can be a tailgate.
The dog's still out. So you describe Endries as a sort of flex fullback, not a true tight end who can play with his hand in the dirt and grapple head up. But if you're seeing him lined up there, it's a tell for the defense that pulling blockers are coming to join him. See, I haven't actually noticed that. I think that's a pretty good ID. So is he in the Big 10B up there?
Yep.
Okay. And so because he's not lining up, would Texas do this with Jatavian Sanders, or would they trust him to block enough? 6 in one thing, half dozen the other.
I don't think so. But they were a little more zone oriented, so they would just play him off the ball and have him slide back and forth. Helm would do.
Yeah, Helm would, but they were willing to block with him a little bit more. So on the Big 10B, and I guess he's about to pull, so he's about to start coming towards the near sideline.
They pull from the backside so that he doesn't have to block the guy across from him. He gets to double up to the next level. What they're avoiding here, it's hard because the screen's always small. What they're avoiding is him going head up against a guy across from him without help. That's not a good. You don't want that. He's a little too small for that. So when he's in line, that means the guy across from him, they're going to pull somebody from somewhere else to block him, and Endries is going to go block down and try to find a linebacker or combo somebody. Something where he's not one-on-one against like a 260-pound end.
Or alternatively, they could read that player, right?
Or they could read that player and have him release or whatever.
Gotcha. As a lead blocker, he's willing, physical, and makes smart decisions. I think somebody asked on Inside Texas the other day, and it's a very fair question. Like, what's the difference between a willing blocker and a good blocker, Justin, and like you can be, and I think no, it's a no, I get it, but it's a fair
That's a good
question.
question.
What's the difference between a willing blocker and a good blocker? Like you can be willing, but if that will doesn't is it used right, what good is it?
Hayden Connor was a willing blocker. Kelvin Banks was a good blocker. That's kind of the difference.
And a willing blocker.
Yeah, I always use. I like the way Paul describes it. You know, you're a screener until you're a blocker. You know, if Hayden Connor couldn't, head up, get you with the point of contact, he was at least going to get in your way, which is really in some plays all you really need is that step, that second, that gap protected or whatever. And so I think that's the difference. Some guys, it may be a battle of strength. It may be a lack of it. Sometimes you may not have the size and ability to literally lock up and head up with someone, and you just have to throw your body in the mix. And that's what happens, I think, a lot with these tight ends these days. The ones that have become so much more offensive minded, becoming more of an offensive weapon. The old blocking tight end you don't have as much of because these guys score touchdowns now. They run routes. They flex out into receiver roles, and so I think it's just a combination of physical ability and like I said, willingness is essentially effort. But some guys are willing blockers just because they may not be good, and others are good blockers because, like Kelvin Banks, when he came out the womb, he was ready to block.
I think for tight end also, you can notice that some of those receiving guys Justin's talking about, they don't accelerate into contact. That's for sure.
Guys that score touchdowns don't like to get contact like that.
Here's another example here's a great example of willing versus good. If you watch Jaron Kanik for Oklahoma, he is a very willing blocker. He puts himself into some tough spots, but then he gets manhandled. So he's willing, but he's not good at it.
Injuries, and I respect that.
Yeah, I do too. I really like Kanik. I think that guy's – it's like if you could steal somebody from another roster that you secretly like.
Would you say Endries is willing, whereas Spencer Shannon is good?
I don't think Shannon is that good, unfortunately.
Okay, but
Nick Townsend is very willing. Nick Townsend is trying to take people's goals.
Okay,
but also he doesn't even know who to block sometimes, right? Or he blocks.
Well, not yet. It's early. What we've learned about Nick Townsend is he's going to hit whoever runs in front of him. It's kind of like that old Richard Pryor skit about George Foreman when he came into the ring. He was kind of dumb, and he'd go, "Which one's the referee? Because I'm gonna kill the other," And so it's just, I think Nick Townsend, if you get in his way, he's going to obliterate you.
Townsend he's that's so encouraging too, because he's a fast receiving kind of guy. Townsend is. And
eager.
So to see him just be excited to go try to double someone or smack a guy in the hole that's a very good prognosis for his future. Endries is not that violent, but he's much smarter.
He doesn't need to be.
He's smarter and more in control, which is actually better.
Thank you. Good call.
And that allows for plays like this. And I think we talked about this play a little bit last week, but I think this may be the best designed play of the year and maybe the best executed play of the year. Like, it stinks that it occurred in a loss, but what you're going to see, this is a third down, correct? Has to be, because look, they've got 3 on this side. I think this is a 3rd and long, if I remember.
Well, it was late in the game, so I don't know. Right. Ohio State may have been in that just because they knew they were going to throw no matter what.
So they're going to focus on that right side of the O-line for Texas compared to the other side.
It's a passing situation no matter what. And I actually learned this, I think maybe from you, Ian, the other day. When you see these 3 all on the same side, it's to create 3 one-on-one matchups, or at least common. 2.
Yeah.
So what you'll see, there's Endries lined up as a, kind of sort of in line, and he runs a motion out and runs a wheel. You can see Ohio State 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in single high coverage, obviously single high, but I was just trying to see if anybody was being covered up.
They call that Caleb Downs coverage.
It's going to actually
Caleb
morph into. It's going to morph into too high after the snap. I think.
From the guy right by the play button.
I think so.
Okay. And over here at the top of the screen, I guess that's Wingo. He's being covered by Devin Sanchez, everybody's favorite cornerback from the 2025 class. And Endries makes a play, Arch makes a play. It's I think the best executed play all year. It's just the situation made it what it was. Just drops it right in the bucket, absorbs the hit. Like, that's
a lot of things have to go right for that play to be successful.
In one of the Ian, correct me if I'm wrong, like it kind of looks like that route he's running. It could be like, okay, I'm going to be the check down real quick. And then that's why he kind of gets a step on Devin Sanchez. Because that's not what I expect. I did not expect Jack Endries to get a step on Devin Sanchez because it's like, okay, settle in, check down. Nope, I'm the guy going. And
Does
that's
that match quarters or out of zone? What does that mean?
Let me see.
What Sanchez is doing, it's zone.
Yeah,
I think it's cover two.
Cover two.
I think it's quarters to the boundary and cover two to the field.
Field, okay. Devin's going to be so good.
What do they do with maybe Tampa 2?
That's really good coverage, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a true freshman. My
only quibble with the good design argument, Joe, is that it took such a darn good throw to pull that off.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant by so many little things had to go right for that thing to work.
I mean, that's the thing. If you're playing cover two, that side of the field, Matt Patricia's probably doing like you know what? If there's a hole right there and you can
let him throw it.
Okay, man, go right ahead. But most quarterbacks cannot okay, let's see. I'll try to do some quick math in my head. That's from the 7-yard line. He lands at the 40. So it's at least a 37-yard. That's probably like approaching a 50-yard throw. And it's in the perfect spot. Like that's why everybody's excited about Arch Manning.
Blake Bryant says that's Arch's best throw of the year. And notable, I think that might be the best catch of the year for a Texas guy as well. So just to reinforce my overall point that Jack Endries is actually like
really good,
the best or second best skill player on the entire team.
We knew how much Texas needed Endries. I just think we're just now kind of unearthing how valuable he's going to actually be. We knew he was essential. We knew that. But now his value, his ad value is appearing week to week.
So Ian, how do they build around Jack Endries?
So it's fortunately not that hard because he's not like an inline tight end, as we said. So if you play an 11 personnel and it's him and a slot receiver, you're a little bit limited you theoretically are limited in the run schemes you can run because he's not going to block an end heads up. But because Arch can do that for him with a read, it kind of opens the world back up. Like if you wanted to be a run-centric offense and be physical in the run game and you didn't have a dual threat quarterback, you would absolutely need to pair Endries with a big blocking tight end, or at least like a passably good one. I think Sark still wants to have that gear. I don't know if they can get there this season, but fortunately, I'm not sure that it matters because what Arch can do. And Caldwell in a pinch can also offer you the same thing. So in my ideal world, they would get the third best receiver in the slot, and they would major in 11 personnel and let Endries move all over the place and hunt people, bum hunt, like I've said. If they can get Jordan, go ahead.
I love bum hunting. It's so good. It's not what I ever expected to like. I didn't expect that to come from you. You and I remember what was it? Gary Patterson always said, like, yeah, make them play with like their left hand or one hand behind their back. And I guess the offensive version of that is like bum hunt.
I guess because he's a poker player, Haralabos Vulgaris would often use that in playoff basketball when teams would like make the worst guy come defend a screen against LeBron or Curry or Luca or something, because it's a poker term, bum hunting. Anyway, yeah, you can do that really well if you got a good slot on this team. If Jordan Washington or one of these tight ends are the next best guy, you could go in that direction as well. It kind of depends on, like, I list a bunch of guys that could be that fifth guy, and it's not obvious who it is. Like DeAndre Moore has had a slow start. I believe he's a little banged up right now.
Yeah. He's probably
Ryan Niblett
doubtful for
Yeah.
Saturday.
Ryan Niblett is kind of interesting for this. We haven't seen a ton. Dalen McCutcheon seems to have a lot of trust. It's like Lovejoy is like a minor league Texas team at this point. The guys they send to Texas know how to play receiver at a higher level than other places.
Oh, I wonder why that is.
Thanks, Todd. There's also, just Washington or Townsend. If they can be reliable as enough as blockers and catch the ball, you could probably go 12 personnel, even if they're not good in line, and just use the same Arch Manning keep read threat to try to make things easier for them. It's not obvious the right way to go. Fortunately, Endries opens a lot of doors for them based on just whoever's the best player. They don't need the best fit because he and Arch make the fit easier. So they can probably just choose the best player. Does it make sense?
Yes. Like whoever has that good week that week, that's who needs to.
I could be that. Hopefully they find a guy.
Ryan Nelson makes a good point on Jordan Washington, because I was just about to say something like, at what point does Nick Townsend start creeping into Washington's reps?
I don't know if Townsend can block in line. I don't know if he's quite there yet physically.
I think he can. I think he's there physically. I don't know if he's there spiritually.
I think I'm with this, because here's the thing: like when you're Jordan Washington and you're playing at Langham Creek, and he basically played wide receiver. Like,
yeah,
and
now he's what, 260?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's going to look bulky compared to that, but he probably is a little bit too heavy now.
I agree.
Just because that heaviness hasn't really led to advanced blocking ability that you'd want to see quite yet.
Yeah, it's not always functional mass, unfortunately.
Anything else on tight end, or are we ready to start hitting maybe a little bit of what's going on around the SEC?
Let's go around the SEC, Uncle Vern.
I would just say that for this next game against UTEP, I'm curious if Sark has like a big rotation again at tight end or slot, and what they run, because it's like I said in the article, Livingston and Endries are knowns. Those are your two key players in this offense. Those are your two best players on offense of the skill players. You definitely want to get Wingo going so that he can be included in that conversation.
And he's doubled everybody else's targets, and that trend will continue Saturday.
I think so too, for sure. They really want to get him going.
They do.
But then who that next guy is, especially if Moore is out,
it's day.
It's a great chance for somebody to say, "Hey, I'm up for this."
It's going to be Dalen McCutcheon. He's going to score this weekend. I'll put it in a round table.
That'd be maybe so. He seems like he might be the guy.
And
that's his backup, and that's the guy that they trust. I mean, Dalen was getting run with the ones in the spring and the fall. Dalen just needs to be – Dalen's polished. He just needs experience. That's it. He's 18 years old.
And Ian, remember what I was telling you earlier about what Sark talked about? Evan just posted a story talking about the rest of the room over on Inside Texas that includes some of Sark's comments. about Monday and the position and all that. So it's tight end Thursday, I guess. It's also Andre the Lawyer Thursday.
This video is brought to you by Andre the Lawyer. If you're injured, trust the team that secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans with their injury case. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, and wrongful deaths. Don't let insurance tell you what your claim is worth. Hire Andre the Lawyer to fight for you. Principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait and call Andre the Lawyer today at 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. The contact information is in the description.
Couple chats to get to. Can we get someone else as our punt returner? I think Niblett was fine last game. I think that bouncing kick that went about 20 yards, that punt was so bad it was good. And he was not supposed to field that. Like, yeah, you don't want to give up that yardage, but you also don't want him to try and, like, you know, if you're a center fielder and you dive for a ball and it gets under you, then it's going to the fence. You know, like that's.
I'll make a wild prediction. Okay, this is pretty bold, like Guy Fieri bold. Okay, DeAndre Moore is going to be returning punts in SEC play.
I buy it.
Niblett, watching from the stands last Saturday, some of Niblett's decision making. I didn't know
he's thinking out there, guys, and you don't want him thinking too much.
He did reliably bring in the catch, though. So
there's something to be said about that.
Which is what Bill Parcells would say is his job.
Y'all remember that game in 2019 against Oklahoma State in Austin, where Texas mishandled like 3 or 4 punts, and
the Reggie Hemphill Max experience.
Herman started telling guys not to even field it. He's like, just don't screw this up. We can win
because Reggie Hemphill Max couldn't understand the first part of the 10-yard line and the backside of the 10.
I don't think
wrong,
he was
wrong year.
Wrong year.
That was a game Brandon Jones like muffed one.
Yeah,
trying to make like a sliding catch.
That was a rare game that I was in town.
Now I remember.
I watched that game with Wedhorn in the stands, and that was the game where they doubled that Tylan Wallace. They doubled Tylan Wallace with Caden Stearns for the entire game and shut him down. That was a very interesting game, but the punt return situation was a disaster.
Because it was like Jake Smith messed up. It's like, all right, let's put Brandon Jones back there. And then Brandon Jones messed up. So,
it was
kind of
the only reason the game was competitive.
Yeah. Kicking off our SEC discussion, Ryan Nelson, the bottom of the SEC is improved. The depth just gets better every year, but the top of the conference is wide open. So what happens when you have 16 programs motivated to win?
This is when it happens when you don't have Nick Saban dominating sporting resources.
Well, and Kirby Smart. You know, when you got two in divisions that kind of keep them apart, you know, they can kind of live in their own world. Yeah, I mean, this is true. But some of those programs that are motivated don't put that motivation into proper action. How many 10-2 teams will there be? There was one 11-1 team last year. It was Texas. Only get 2 10-2 teams max. That'd be interesting because that makes the playoff picture look very different. If you have a bunch of 9-3 SEC teams, it's going to be more heated than last year. But that's not our problem because you know what? We got week 3 to talk about. We got Joey Aguilar on the screen to talk about. That's the game of the week. Let's go through all of them. Wisconsin at Alabama. This one may be worse than 20.5 because I think Wisconsin's starting quarterback is out. So, yeah, good luck on that one. Anything either you want to see from Alabama on that front?
No, I don't want to hear Alabama say a word until they've competently defended a team that runs with a dual threat quarterback. When you've done that, you can submit that in writing. Until then, we are not on speaking terms.
Oklahoma at Temple. So not much here. I thought that game went as I thought it would with Oklahoma and Michigan. I thought Michigan's game plan was week. But I guess if you're thinking about the future of Bryce Underwood, not the present, you'll take that loss. I guess my question here is, Justin, this is Oklahoma at Temple, like at Temple. They're playing in Philadelphia at the Link. So would you like maybe for Texas to do games like this? Like I saw some like Alabama played at South Florida a few years ago. I mean, I guess if you're Texas, I'm trying to think of some other, like UNC Charlotte. They just go by Charlotte now, playing the Panthers Stadium. Do you like the idea of maybe doing a game like this where you play a nobody team at an NFL field?
Well, I have a memory of, when was it, 2019, when Texas went to Maryland.
18, yeah,
18, and played in it wasn't the old RFK Stadium. I can't remember.
No, it's FedEx Field, and that's the
FedEx
worst
Field.
stadium
Yeah,
ever.
it was FedEx Field. I remember that. I mean, I remember Texas going to UTEP. What was it, 2008? Playing out there in the Sun Bowl. I remember them going to UCF and opening their stadium, their new stadium for them. They had Kevin Smith, the running back, who wound up playing in the NFL. I think Texas has done this. They've dabbled in this a little bit, but honestly, I like the heavy hitter in the first 4 games, and then 3, not so much cupcakes, but 3 easier games to sort of get everybody lined up, to get depth on the field before SEC play starts, to kind of get people healthy. And so I don't think there's a risk to it. I think Temple's surpassed Stan Drayton's win total from last year already. And so they're going to be a little bit improved, but I like the idea of playing on an NFL, like maybe playing Northwestern in a home and home and going playing in old Soldier Field. Not sure what Chicago calls their stadium now. It doesn't matter. It's always going to be Soldier Field.
It's still Soldier Field, but Northwestern just pumped $1 billion into building their own stadium.
And they're going to want to host it. Northwestern was a bad idea. I was trying to get to the Chicago Metroplex. Northwestern was a bad example. But I like the idea of it, as long as you can feel the stadium. That game against Maryland, that stadium was half empty. And so I think if you can feel the stadium, it's worth your while.
Like maybe you could play. Chris Bennett brings it up. Texas would play Rice at NRG plenty. That's also because
they haven't gone back to NRG after that terrible win against Rice in 2010. Mac Brown was like, "Yeah, we're done."
They went back in 20. They've been back twice, I think.
They played Rice again in 2016, 19. I believe. 19. Well, I think Jake Smith caught his first touchdown there.
Yeah.
I remember covering that game in the second quarter, almost took a nap.
It was a snoozer.
I think it was the game right after the LSU game.
Yeah.
And so there was a little bit of a hangover there.
One of the things I think you could do is, like, you could play Middle Tennessee State in Nashville whenever the Titans' new stadium opens up. Like something like that. That's what I'm in support of.
I could see that.
South Al at Auburn.
Isn't South Florida and Tampa?
Yeah.
You can play Raymond James. You can play South Florida at Raymond James. Now that'd be a risk.
And they're finally building a new stadium too. So
are they?
You're luckily, the amount of teams that are playing in NFL stadiums is dwindling in number. But you know who still is? The Pitt Panthers. They wanted to do that.
Aren't we going to a game conference schedule though? Isn't that official now?
Yes, but you don't have to play. You don't have to play Ohio State and Michigan. You can play Wake Forest.
So you would nix the big game and then give us.
No, you would try to mix it in. The big game is what they look for. I think, Ian, they're looking for like that perfect middle ground, like a Temple, essentially.
Georgia does it right, because every couple of years Georgia will play Clemson, then they'll play Oregon, and then every now and then they'll play like Syracuse, who's been good, but as a program, like they do the right mix of challenging game, and then they'll bring it down a level to satisfy that power conference opponent requirement. And I think Texas can do that too.
I would only do that if you couldn't get the big game.
They're always going to have a big game.
I don't
think they're hosting Michigan next year, Joe.
No, hosting Ohio State, then Michigan at home, and then a Notre Dame series.
Right. Like they're always going to have that big game. We're just looking for that fun middle ground big game. Mid game where you can play potentially in NFL stadium.
I don't want the fun middle ground game where you can take a loss.
Because that's a game you can lose.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Give me more tune-ups against UTEP.
Maybe playing Wisconsin at Lambeau.
No.
No.
Well, maybe.
Well, no, Wisconsin would never let that happen. If
They
Texas
already
was coming up there, you're going to Camp Randall.
They played at LSU. They
Who
played
played at
LSU in
LSU?
Lambeau.
Wisconsin did?
Yeah,
When?
like Dave Aranda years.
Well, that's cool.
Well, that doesn't
I thought I
really
just
narrow
came
it
up with
down.
that. I thought I
That
just
doesn't-
came up with that. That's awesome.
No, LSU played at Lambeau. All right, we're gonna skip South Al and Auburn because I don't think anything's happening there. Georgia at Tennessee.
So you're not respecting the Fighting Major Applewhites?
Not considering Fluff Bothwell is in Starkville, not in Mobile anymore.
10-4.
Georgia at Tennessee. Ian, I'm curious what you think the battle to note in this game is. I think it's the Tennessee D line and the Georgia O line.
Georgia's offense looks a lot better, guys.
I mean, that's definitely that's like the heavyweight match, right?
I think Georgia should be favored by a little more.
This is tough. Aguilar's looked really good. Tennessee's offense looks better this year.
Tennessee's missing some DBs.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, Jamon
both.
McCoy's out.
That's not good. Their offense looks more Kiffin and Levy-ish and less unadapted. Less old Bryles, unadapted Bryles, which I think is very promising for them. Aguilar's, I think, a little better than we realized. He's had a couple throws that were
Tennessee won that trade.
They definitely won that trade. I thought they won the trade just by getting off Nico's contract. And I was like, I bet Aguilar is a fine replacement, and now they don't have to pay $1 gazillion for mediocre quarterback play. But he's got kind of a cannon arm, more than I realized.
He's solid.
And
Mike Matthews and him already have a little rapport going. Matthews was a really good recruit, Ian.
Georgia's secondary is a really tough matchup for them, so that's going to be pretty decisive how that matchup goes.
I like Georgia by a touchdown.
Tennessee also has a 5-star commitment at quarterback, Faison Brandon. And, Joey Aguilar is not going to preclude him from still making it, to Tennessee. So they just need to get those receivers. And, hey, they also have a pretty good receiver in that 2026 class. It's funny. I get a lot of this info from straight from the SEC, and some of it I copy paste, including the matchup. I found it pretty funny that they called him UL Lafayette instead of Louisiana, like they want to be called so much.
I was wondering if they switch back.
No, that school wants to be called Louisiana until
the state legislature makes them stop.
Yeah. Everybody else calls them USL. I don't think there's anything there. There's not even a line on that game on BetMGM.
Hey, just as long as they fix the field in Columbia, that's all I care about. Did y'all see the other day, though? I think Missouri lost their quarterback for the year.
So Bo Prubula and one of the other guys, I forget his name, the other guy got injured.
Right.
And Prubula didn't take that job and make it 100% his.
Right.
So,
well, whoever the other guy was, I'd read is out for the season.
We've broken down UTEP in Texas a ton.
Sam Horn, thank you, Ryan.
But Texas 41.5.
I don't think they cover.
Any takers? 6 touchdown win?
No, I'll take UTEP in that. I don't think Texas covers.
I think they might, because Malachi Nelson is not good, and I'm ready to spike the football when Texas blows them out. After you said UTEP was the best of the bad teams they play.
I thought I said San Jose State.
I thought he did too.
I thought he said UTEP.
He said UTEP was the second best of the bad teams they play.
Did you say San Jose State? I thought I could have sworn it was UTEP and because of Waldrum.
No, I'm partial to UTEP because of Scotty Walden. That's my bias, and I live in it.
I think it's definitely going to end up being San Jose State.
And what Scotty usually does, they're not going to do Saturday. Scotty likes to get the ball out in 12 seconds, and he's got a quarterback with a big arm. Decision making to do that. They're not going to do that against Texas. They are going to milk that clock every drive, every play down to the bottom to keep them as competitive as possible.
The thing you and I have been going back and forth on, Ian, is Sam Houston State and how I think they're going to be the worst. And I saw some highlights of that Western Kentucky game. That scoreboard did not tell how uncompetitive that game.
This was not the year to get an FCS school.
There is no year is the one to get an FCS school.
Texas went 25 years before doing this, and I don't know why they did it.
I thought are they still FCS? I thought they climbed up.
They're up, yeah.
They climbed up, but let's be real. Yeah. Come on. That's what the program resembles right now.
Alcorn State at Mississippi State, not much.
Dude, the cowbell is clanging after that Arizona State win. They are happy up in Mississippi, up in Starkville right now.
The only thing is they've matched their win total through 2 games from last year.
Jeff Levy's extension on the way.
Now we get some SEC games. Arkansas at Ole Miss. Speaking of the opposite of extension, Arkansas did what it needed to do against Arkansas State. This game's always been crazy, and I haven't seen anything on the Ole Miss quarterback quite yet. But if Austin Simmons isn't 100%, I do wonder what this game looks like. Because if not, it's going to be a points fest.
Listen, if Arkansas wins this game, they're already changing the narrative going into this season, and I don't think they've proven a whole lot either way. But it'll buy Pittman a little bit more good grace towards the end of the year. But I think this is a game that kind of we're going to figure out really early. Like, is Ole Miss going to punch you, or if they're going to go through the motions? Is Taylor Green going to be dynamic, or are they going to be low scoring and turn the ball over? Like, to me, this is a good early test.
Is what happened with Austin Simmons last week? He's like,
ankle, I think.
Is he good? Is he going to play?
I can actually check the SEC availability report.
Well, Lane Kiffin's going to list. He's going to be the 20th guy on the list.
I know, but if he's even him being on there says something. Let's see.
Probable.
I can tell you in just a second.
He's probable. That's how he's listed.
Yeah, probable. And Kellen Lacey, their running back. Basically, their big offensive players are all probable.
I didn't see it. Ryan Nelson is saying he was carried off the field and didn't return. What does that mean, carried? Like they picked him up or like in a cart?
Probably one of the other.
Picked him up. He was walking around on the sideline.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think he messed up his ankle or something like that.
He refused the wheelchair.
Anything else on this one, or we want to get to?
No, I want to talk about the next one.
You want to talk about Diego?
I think this might actually be a fun game.
Yeah,
two good quarterbacks that make plays. South Carolina getting by, playing a pesky Virginia Tech team. I think they can play better. I think Sellers can play better. Vanderbilt, the fighting Diego Pavias. I'm always going to watch Vandy as long as that guy's there and the SEC shorts people are filming videos. I'm all in on Vandy. I think this is going to be a fun game. I do. The fact that it's in Columbia lends me to believe South Carolina is going to win this by more than a touchdown, but their offense did not look smooth at all against Virginia Tech. Now, their defense was great. That front, Dylan Stewart, they're legit. The offense, I was expecting a little bit more because of all the Lenoris preseason hype, who I'm a fan of. Don't get it wrong. But Columbia for Vanderbilt, we'll see.
I think Vanderbilt scored 34 second half points against Virginia Tech, beat them 34-zip. South Carolina, they won that game. They did fine.
Their defense, I think South Carolina's defense and special teams actually helped with the scoring in that game too.
Yeah, that's what Ryan Nelson
Yeah.
brings up. They had 2 punt returns for a touchdown against South Carolina State. Like
I'm
that
telling you,
offense-
the offense is not as smooth as you would hope for a quarterback that's being mentioned as a potential first-round pick in 2026 draft.
Yeah. And then so that'll be a good one. SEC Network at night. That's a tough place to play. EMU at Kentucky. They're not going to lose this game. They might, but
I think Cutter Bowley's the guy now, right?
yeah, Calzada's hurt. Florida at LSU. So Florida, this is one of the games that got them going last year. It was later in the year when they beat LSU and were able to take care of business there. But is it done already for Florida? Is LSU going to be able to take advantage of everything?
Miami might be the nail in the coffin here. LSU just might be the wake.
I think that's a good way of putting it.
I feel bad for Billy, but that schedule, the fact that Miami's improved noticeably, like that schedule's just brutal. And I like that Texas gets them towards kind of the end of it. The only thing I don't like is they get a bye week going into Texas, and so they can always rally the troops in a sense. And Lagway's going to be potentially sharp. I don't know, man. LSU to me is still an unknown in a sense. Like I know they can make big plays on offense. I know Harold Perkins has actually looked very productive in the first 2 games of this season. Like they finally found a role for him. But LSU wins that. The hype in Baton Rouge is going to get louder, even though it's Florida.
I don't think Florida is the right kind of offense to try to attack Perkins. I think Clemson had the right kind of offense, and they botched it, probably partly because their slot receiver got injured early in the game, and that really seemed to discombobulate them. I think Perkins is a tough guy to face if you want to get big and run the ball. And he's just sitting there on the edge, like coming free every now and then. I also, Nussmeier, I trust a lot more than Lagway to make the 1 or 2 winning decisions. Lagway
That's
had
why I have Nussmeier as my first quarterback picked in 2026 over Klubnik.
He had a bad pick, Lagway did, against South Florida, where he was just trying to do too much. So I think this will be a very competitive game. Like Florida's going to come into this. They were probably already looking ahead, and that's probably partly why
I agree.
USF caught them.
USF, to their credit, we've seen them twice this year, or at least I have. Great athletes on both sides of the ball, especially defense. They got swarmers on that defensive side of the ball.
You can't mess around with that team. They will hurt you. So I think Florida's going to come in and really try to slug away with LSU, but I don't think they're there. I don't think the 1 or 2 plays I think are going to go against them that change the game.
Texas A&M at Notre Dame, Mike Elko.
We know a lot of friends, Joe, in this that are involved in this game.
I know.
Are they both unranked?
Yes, but I just
it's on NBC. A&M is some kind of fired up to be in like a national spotlight game.
I think A&M is ranked like in the 20s, and Notre Dame, in the teens. Notre Dame may be top 10. I just didn't get the rankings on here. I should have gotten that. But this may be a ugly, low-scoring football game.
I'm curious to hear what Ian says. And see, that silence is telling me so much.
I don't trust either team. I don't trust either quarterback. Both quarterbacks can kind of make things happen that are impressive now and then, but they're also like, they'll do something else where you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you even know what you're doing out there? I've not actually taken in A&M this year with my own eyes.
Their offense is improved.
From what I've seen,
Concepcion and Craver make a difference.
From what I've seen, they are carrying things, but Reed's numbers do not look as good as they should
against inferior opponents.
And especially given that he has those 2 guys running free.
And Notre Dame's got a much better secondary than what
Oh,
they've been facing.
Blake Bryant notes their defense still isn't great. It sounds like A&M safeties still have no idea what they're doing.
A&M's defense took a step back. That's obvious.
It's crazy to me that they can't get their safeties on board with the system. I don't know if you can. I guess I lean Notre Dame.
I lean Notre Dame. You give Marcus Freeman 2 weeks. They're 0-1. Carr looked so much better in the second half than he did the first half. I think this is going to be a fun game. I really do.
I cannot wait to see a little bit of it. So always fun.
Are we going to get to see a little bit of it?
Yeah.
I guess Texas game will be ending about the time it's starting. So we should be able to catch a little bit of it.
At the second half. Are you going, Justin? Are you going to be there? Are you going Tyler?
To Notre Dame? No. I'm not South Bend this week.
To UTEP.
No. I'm not going to UTEP. I'm not going to. I'm holding it down from Command Central. And so we got 2 of our best guys that are going to be in the press box handling everything Texas UTEP on Saturday. Be sure and check us out at InsideTexas.com. As for me, I'll be in the background. But, hey, join for $1. You get your first full year access. You get The Athletic, which is really a great read. Good. So a lot of good long form stuff from our friends over there. But come see us. Join for $1 right now. It's really, let us earn your business. It's the best time. We're about to get into SEC play. Recruiting is actually picking up. We're going to have a couple more recruiting posts go up by the end of the day. Come see us at InsideTexas.com for only $1.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much, Ian. Thank you so much, Justin. See you next time on IT Live, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.